I'm Michael Reddy, and I go into businesses and either turn them around or have them grow exponentially. So I really love to focus on going into companies that are financially sound, that are sort of stuck, and break them through and have them reach new levels of profitability and revenue growth that they haven't done in the past. Whether I do that for my own businesses that I then turn around and sell, or whether I do it for other people as an advisor and a coach. I'll give you the real story why I became an entrepreneur. I got fired. I was a corporate lawyer in downtown Toronto, and I spent 4.5 years training to do something I only did for 6 months. And I hated it, and I remember going into the senior partner I was working for saying, this isn't working out, and I need to shift to another lawyer, try a different kind of law. And I remember him saying, you don't have the opportunity, you're fired. That was on a Friday. And the nice part is that the other 3 senior partners in the firm all tried to hire me back on Monday to work with them, so my ego was solved a little bit. But I really had seen that being a corporate lawyer was not what I wanted. And I had an opportunity within 7 days to join a man named Warren Watson. And he was going into a company that had 29 operating locations, had leases, union contracts, the whole bit. He didn't have legal expertise. And I got to join his partnership, and he and I went and did our first turnaround. And he was a mentor to me, and we did over 20 businesses together that we went in and laid the groundwork to turn them around and made them profitable. And that to me was a huge turning point in my entrepreneurial life, and then why I never went back. Because now I'm unemployable. No one will hire me. I have to create my own jobs. I think it's important for everyone to get fired once. Because if you're ever going to fire someone, you need to know what it's like on the receiving end. Because it turns their life upside down. And I think you need the compassion and empathy to know what you're doing. Oh yeah, big time. That was in my real estate business. We were doing land development and construction. And we had 2 big projects underway. We had about 50 houses that we were building in 2 different locations north of Toronto. And we had a trust company that was funding us our construction money. So we would sign contracts with potential buyers, and they would put down deposits, and then the trust company would loan us the money to build the houses, and then they would move in, we'd get paid, and we'd pay the trust company. The trust company went broke. So we went from having a complete construction funding line for 50 houses under construction to the trust company going broke, a receiver coming in, taking control, and stopping all loans. So we now had lost our construction financing, but the sites were still encumbered by the company that got into receivership, the trust company. So we failed to close all those 50 houses. I had to call each homeowner and tell them they weren't going to get the house. And this was before Christmas. That was tough. That was very tough. And then we scrambled and talked to the trades, and everything stopped dead for a while. But we talked to all the trades, and we'd worked with them for a long time, so they trusted us that we were going to try and resolve this for everybody, because they need money, and I can't pay them unless I get the money from the trust company that was no longer there. And we were able to use our connections and refinance the projects, but that was a 2.5 to 3 month process. So that was a very tough time to be an entrepreneur. From a financing background, what we do now is that we'll never ever have only one financial source. We'll have 2 banks, 2 trusts, whatever, but we'll always have at least 2 financial institutions funding us at any one time. So if something happens with one, I've got a fallback. And doing the same thing with investors that invest with our projects. We'll have investors involved, but we'll always have other ones that want to be investors with us. So we have other sources of capital and other sources of debt that we can borrow from. So when things are sort of falling apart, I think 2 parts of mindset are important. One is to look back at everything you've accomplished to date and realize that you've actually been through some of those peaks and valleys before, and this is just another valley, and I figured out how to get through the last ones, and I'll figure out how to get through the next one. And just to be optimistic about the future. And to put it in reality. One of the things I think about is that when I think things are tough, You know, and I've got problems. I look out and go, 99.99% of the people on the planet would kill to have my problems. I'm not worried about where I get water, how my children are going to live. You know, they have roofs over their heads, there'll always be food on the table. You know, most people in the world don't have that luxury. So my problems really aren't problems at all.